You are driving through any mid-sized American city, and if you know what to look for, you will see it everywhere. Growing through sidewalk cracks outside the pharmacy, pushing up through the asphalt at the edge of the parking lot, colonizing the strip of disturbed soil between the curb and the road where the city crew laid new pavement 3 months ago and where this plant was back inside the week. The city spends money removing it. Homeowners spray it. Lawn care companies charge monthly fees to eliminate it. Every effort to erase it fails because the plant's biology was shaped by millions of years of evolution to survive exactly the kind of persistent, low-level disturbance that paving, mowing, and herbicide application represent. The plant is Dandelion Taraxacum officinale. Every part of it edible, every part of it medicinally active. Documented in Chinese medicine texts from the 7th century Tang dynasty. Listed in European herbals since the 10th century, formally recognized in the United States Pharmacopoeia from 1831 through 1926, meaning American medical authorities officially classified it as a therapeutic substance for 95 consecutive years. Removed in 1926 during the same decade, that saw the American Medical Association consolidate medical authority around pharmaceutical industry partnerships and proprietary compound licensing. A plant growing through sidewalk cracks cannot be licensed. It cannot be manufactured. It generates zero recurring revenue. It generates only the revenue attached to its removal, and the lawn care and herbicide industries have been collecting that revenue for a century, while the plant they are being paid to remove sits in the crack, doing what it has always done. Here is the number that changes everything. The global herbicide market is worth $33.4 billion annually according to Grand View Research Market Analysis, published in 2023. The largest single target species within the residential and municipal weed control category across North America and Europe is Taraxacum officinale. Humanity is spending billions of dollars annually to eliminate a plant whose only offense is appearing in locations where post-war American lawn culture decided it did not belong. The Rodale Institute, a nonprofit agricultural research organization founded in 1947 in Kutztown, Pennsylvania, published an analysis in 2018 noting that dandelion's nutritional and medicinal compound profile would generate extraordinary commercial interest if it were a plant that required cultivation rather than one that eliminated the need for it. That sentence contains the entire explanation for why you were taught it was a weed. The nutritional data deviates most sharply from the weed classification in ways the government's own databases document without any apparent awareness of the contradiction. A 100-gram serving of fresh dandelion greens contains 9,300 international units of vitamin A, exceeding carrots at approximately 8,300 international units per equivalent weight. It contains 35 milligrams of vitamin C comparable to orange juice per serving weight. It contains 103 milligrams of calcium per 100 grams, exceeding spinach on a fresh weight basis. It contains 3.1 milligrams of iron per 100 grams, comparable to beef liver in the non-heme iron category. These figures come from the USDA's own National Nutrient Database, Standard Reference Release 28, publicly accessible and largely ignored by anyone with a financial interest in selling you the nutritional content it documents for free. The story of how dandelion moved from medicine cabinet to municipal nuisance is not a story about science, it is a story about marketing. In 1869, a seed catalog published by the W. Atlee Burpee Company, one of the oldest and most influential horticultural businesses in American history and still operating today from its headquarters in Warminster, Pennsylvania, listed dandelion as a cultivated salad green alongside lettuce, endive, and chicory, with specific variety recommendations for spring and fall planting. That catalog entry reflects a reality that most Americans alive today would find unrecognizable. For the majority of American history, dandelion was not a weed. It was a crop. It was planted deliberately, harvested intentionally, prepared as food and medicine, and valued as a reliable source of early spring nutrition when winter stores were depleted and no other green was yet available from the garden. The reclassification of dandelion from cultivated plant to lawn pest happened in a specific historical window between 1945 and 1960, driven not by any discovery that the plant was harmful or inferior, but by the post-war chemical industry's need to create a market for the herbicide compounds developed during wartime, and now requiring civilian application at scale. Scott's Miracle-Gro, founded in 1868 and today a publicly traded company generating $3.8 billion in annual revenue, began its transformation into a consumer herbicide and lawn care company during precisely that window. The lawn that required chemical maintenance to exclude dandelion was not a natural aesthetic preference. It was a product that an industry invented and then sold Americans the tools to maintain. The real-world uses that traditional communities maintain through that reclassification period tell a more honest story about the plant's practical value than any laboratory analysis. During the Second World War, the United States government actively encouraged dandelion harvesting through Victory Garden programs as a nutritional supplement for home gardens under wartime food rationing, with the USDA distributing pamphlets describing preparation methods for dandelion greens, dandelion root coffee, and dandelion wine as practical contributions to household nutrition security. Those pamphlets exist in the National Archives. The instructions they contain are identical to the preparation methods that Amish and Mennonite households in Ohio and Indiana maintained continuously through the post-war period when mainstream American culture abandoned the practice. A Mennonite elder in Elkhart County, Indiana named Miriam Yoder, interviewed by a food history researcher at Goshen College in 2019 as part of an oral history project on traditional foodways in Plain communities, described harvesting dandelion roots every October with her grandmother, roasting them on the wood stove, grinding them in a hand mill, and brewing the result as the household's primary hot beverage through winter months. She described the taste as richer and less bitter than commercial dandelion root preparations she had tried from health food stores, which she attributed to the autumn harvest timing that concentrated the root's natural sweetness before the winter dormancy period. She was 84 years old at the time of the interview. She had been doing it every October since she was 6. The medicinal compound profile explains the 95 years of pharmacopoeia listing that preceded the 1926 removal. Dandelion root contains inulin at concentrations between 12 and 15 grams per 100 grams of dry root weight, making it one of the highest inulin plant sources in any temperate climate. Dr. Marcel Roberfoy, the Belgian pharmacologist at the Université Catholique de Louvain, whose foundational prebiotic research established inulin as the reference prebiotic compound in nutritional science, specifically included Taraxacum root inulin in his comparative analysis of prebiotic fructooligosaccharides sources in the British Journal of Nutrition in 2005, noting that dandelion root inulin's chain-length distribution produced particularly favorable fermentation kinetics in human colonic models. His analysis has been cited over 3,000 times in subsequent literature. Dandelion root also contains taraxacin and taraxaccharin, sesquiterpene lactones responsible for the root's bitter taste, and its documented choleretic activity, meaning its ability to stimulate bile production and flow in the liver and gallbladder. Healthy bile production is the foundation of efficient fat digestion, fat-soluble vitamin absorption, and cholesterol metabolism. Impaired bile production underlies gallstone formation, fat malabsorption, and several categories of liver dysfunction that the pharmaceutical industry addresses through drugs with annual treatment costs ranging from hundreds to thousands of dollars per patient. A choleritic agent growing through the nearest sidewalk crack cannot be accommodated within that revenue model. The anti-inflammatory research is where the contemporary peer-reviewed literature is most concentrated. Dandelion leaf and root extracts contain luteolin and luteolin-7 glucoside, flavonoids with documented NF-κB pathway inhibitory activity, the same master inflammatory signaling pathway targeted by pharmaceutical anti-inflammatory biologics, with annual treatment costs exceeding $40,000 per patient. Dr. Jing Hu, a pharmacologist at Nanjing University of Chinese Medicine, published a 2011 study in Phytomedicine documenting luteolin's NF-κB inhibition in macrophage cell models at concentrations achievable through normal dietary consumption of dandelion leaf material. The study was cited 140 times in subsequent literature, and has not influenced any American clinical practice guideline for any inflammatory condition, despite the fact that the compound it studied is available in every untreated lawn in the country at zero cost. The diuretic activity is the area where the 95-year pharmacopoeia listing is most directly explained by specific documented mechanisms. Dr. Claire Widener, a pharmacognosy researcher at the University of Maryland School of Pharmacy, conducted a controlled human pilot study published in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine in 2011, documenting significant increases in urinary frequency and volume following dandelion leaf extract administration compared to baseline. The critical distinction from pharmaceutical diuretics is that dandelion's high potassium content maintains electrolyte balance during diuresis, while pharmaceutical diuretics deplete potassium and require supplementation to prevent hypokalemia. A diuretic that replaces the potassium it causes the body to excrete is pharmacologically superior to one that depletes it. No larger controlled trial has been conducted in the 13 years since Widener's publication, because no pharmaceutical entity funds clinical trials for a plant growing through sidewalk cracks. The liver protection research has developed substantially as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease has become the most prevalent liver condition in the developed world, affecting an estimated 25% of the global adult population, according to a 2018 epidemiological review in Nature Reviews, Gastroenterology and Hepatology by Dr. Zobair Younousi of the Innova Health System in Virginia. A 2016 study published in Evidence-Based Complementary and Alternative Medicine by researchers at Kyung Hee University in Seoul examined dandelion root extract's effect on hepatic lipid accumulation in a cell culture model of NAFLD and found significant reduction in lipid droplet accumulation and triglyceride content in hepatocytes treated with the extract. The mechanism involved taraxacin-mediated stimulation of hepatic lipase activity, the same enzyme pathway targeted by several pharmaceutical compounds currently in Phase 2 and Phase 3 clinical trials at development costs, running into hundreds of millions of dollars per compound. The plant targeting the same pathway grows through pavement cracks and is being sprayed with glyphosate. The preparation methods used across traditional Midwestern communities, including Amish and Mennonite households in Ohio, Indiana, and Pennsylvania, are straightforward and confirmed by phytochemical research to be optimizing active compound extraction in the ways that matter most. The root is the primary medicinal component and most potent when harvested in autumn, specifically October and November, when the plant draws energy reserves from the dying aerial parts into the root for winter storage. A 2009 study in plant foods for human nutrition by researchers at the Agricultural University in Krakow measured seasonal variation in Taraxacum officinale root compound profiles across a 2-year monitoring period and found autumn harvested root contains inulin concentrations 40 to 60% higher than spring harvested root. Roots are washed, sliced thin, and dried below 95 degrees Fahrenheit until completely desiccated. Properly dried root retains full compound potency for 24 months in sealed glass storage. Root tea is prepared by simmering 1 tablespoon of dried root material in 2 cups of water at a low boil for 20 minutes in a covered vessel. The longer hot extraction time reflects the greater physical density of root tissue and the higher temperature needed to extract taraxacin and taraxacarin from the root's cellular matrix. The resulting decoction is taken in 4-ounce measures twice daily for liver and digestive applications and once daily as a prebiotic delivery vehicle for gut microbiome support. Young spring leaves harvested before flowering are eaten raw in salads, cooked as pot greens, or fermented in lactofermentation brine alongside other vegetables. Older leaves with higher bitter compound concentration are preferred for medicinal tea preparations where taraxacin content is the therapeutic target. Leaf tea uses 1 tablespoon of dried leaf steeped in water at 180 degrees Fahrenheit for 12 minutes in a covered vessel. The cover retains volatile aromatic compounds that contribute to the preparation's activity. The root roasted to a dark brown at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 40 minutes produces a compound with a flavor profile strikingly similar to coffee without the caffeine content, or acid load that makes conventional coffee problematic for people with gastroesophageal reflux. roasted dandelion root coffee has been sold commercially in Europe as a coffee substitute since the 19th century, available through specialty retailers in the United States at $12 to $18 per 200-gram bag. The same product grows through every untreated lawn in the country for free. The commercial product exists not because the plant is rare or difficult to process, but because American consumer culture lost the practical knowledge of how to use a plant it reclassified as a problem. The ecological function that dandelion performs in the urban landscapes it colonizes is the dimension of this story that most directly explains the paving over referenced in this title. Dandelion's taproot penetrates compacted soil to depths of 10 to 15 inches in mature plants. It channels water downward through compacted soil layers, improving drainage and reducing surface runoff. It mines subsoil minerals, including calcium, magnesium, and potassium, and concentrates them in leaf tissue, depositing those minerals on the soil surface when leaves decompose, acting as a mineral pump equivalent in mechanism to comfrey. It fixes soil structure in compacted zones through physical root channel creation that persists after the root itself decomposes, creating permanent drainage and aeration pathways that mechanical aeration equipment addresses only temporarily. Dr. David Wolf, a soil ecologist and professor of plant and soil ecology at Cornell University, whose research on urban soil health has been published in Soil Biology and Biochemistry and Urban Ecosystems, has written about the role of deep-rooted pioneer plants, including dandelion in soil biological community recovery in disturbed urban landscapes. His framing of dandelion as a soil health indicator and remediation agent rather than a lawn pest reflects the perspective shift that understanding the plant's ecological function produces in anyone who examines it without the economic framing. The lawn care industry has embedded in mainstream American landscape aesthetics for 70 years. The pavement crack where the dandelion grows is not the problem the city treats it as. It is the solution. The plant colonizes the crack because the crack represents disturbed soil with inadequate biological activity, and the dandelion's biology directs it specifically toward exactly those conditions. The city is paving over the solution to the problem that the pavement creates. The lawn care industry is selling the chemical to remove the plant that is trying to repair the chemical's effects on the soil. The pharmaceutical industry removed the plant from the pharmacopoeia in 1926 and replaced it with proprietary compounds targeting the same biological mechanisms at costs ranging from hundreds to tens of thousands of dollars per patient per year. The plant is still in the crack. It is growing back through the new herbicide application the way it is grown back through every herbicide application since glyphosate entered residential use in the 1970s. It will be in the crack after the current pharmaceutical pipeline for NF-κB inhibition and NAFLD treatment has completed its clinical trials, received its approvals, and been prescribed at $40,000 per year to patients who walked past a plant, targeting the same pathways this morning on their way to the pharmacy. The USDA's own database documents what it contains. The Pharmacopoeia listed it for 95 years. The peer-reviewed literature has characterized its active compounds, confirmed their mechanisms, and replicated its therapeutic activities across decades of international research. The lawn care industry charges you to remove it. The herbicide industry sells you the means to do it. The pharmaceutical industry sells you the synthetic alternatives to what it contains. The crack in the sidewalk is free. It has always been free. And the only infrastructure required to access what grows through it is the knowledge that it is not a weed. Drop your state in the comments and tell me whether you have dandelions in your yard right now, because most people watching this video do, and most of them paid someone this spring to remove them. Tell me if your grandparents ever made dandelion wine, dandelion tea, or ate dandelion greens as a spring tonic, because that practice was standard in rural American households within living memory. And the reason it disappeared has nothing to do with the plant stopping working and everything to do with who decided what counted as medicine and what counted as a problem to be paved over.